watched the movie Brewster's Million with Richard Pryor. Somebody
I'm
needs
going
to
to do
get
star
out
5
there.
again. Someone is on the Skype call is having a background problem here. We're getting a lot of noise. Patrick, you unmute yourself.
Okay, did you unmute everybody, Tom?
Yeah, I unmuted everybody. The noise actually was coming from the people on the Skype group, call-in group.
Okay.
So there is still some noise coming. Let's see how it works. But please, everybody who's not talking, do star 6 and mute yourself out. If you're on Skype, then mute your own phone or get it off speaker.
Okay, yeah. One of the key things is in the movie Brewster's Million, okay, with Richard Pryor, okay, to get his inheritance, he had to get rid of $30 million to get $300 million. And basically, it was a challenge all the way through the movie, okay? And at the very end, it was the statement was made, conspiracy to defraud. Well, that's what they've been doing to you. And see, the $30 million you need to get rid of is basically the Social Security account. You need to liquidate that item. That's the one that is holding everybody down, okay? It's the one that's tied into the public realm. You need to get back into the civil realm out here and get away from the public realm, the 14th Amendment public corporations and the 14th Amendment public government corporation that is operating out here. And they're all operating in a conspiracy to defraud the living. Now, if they don't want to comply, you take them into civil court. You never stay into their public court. You move it out. And basically, you have to allege the conspiracy. That's what I told people before and put in that overt act. You read the definition in Anderson's dictionary about conspiracy that is in there. And you'll learn something about what's going on. But you have to allege the conspiracy. If you don't allege it, then basically they're not going to go. They will just walk right over you. And it even says in there, to destroy a vessel or the goods on board with intent to injure any underwriter or lender of money. You're the underwriter, and you were the lender of the assets on board there, on board your vessel. And they've also, in the conspiracy, it says, to prevent a person from accepting or exercising an office. These are also punishable acts of Congress that have been classified as conspiracies. So, I don't know how many people were on the call last night, but I haven't really got too much more to say. I submitted a fax off to my local Secret Service agents today, and also one off to the Treasury. I don't really expect too much out of them today, since Wednesday's Christmas, and probably most of them have all taken off for the week. I don't know how much response we're going to get out of them, because most of them are really complying with the public office instead of being there for us in the civil office, because not too many people are out there trying to access the civil office. So, in a lot of cases, they've sort of given up on anybody coming into the civil office because nobody showed up for years. So, I think tonight we'll just go ahead and open it up, and if you got some questions, we'll try and see what we can work out here. Make this sort of a working session. Okay, so try and bring some logical understanding to the table here. Like, I had one guy stop and see me this afternoon. He's an ex-minister, and when I was laying this all out about how to do your letters, by you putting the date, posted, signed, sealed, and dated at the top, and then your signature at the top of the letter, and then have everything else fall beneath your signature, and then put your stamp, your 3-cent stamp or whatever, down at the bottom of the item. He said, you know, when you mentioned that, he said, I often wondered why St. Paul always signed everything at the beginning and never at the end. So it's just food for thought. Okay, so go ahead and *6 and come on there and ask a question, or basically put a statement in, whatever you might be able to try and add to this process of understanding how to get the hell out of this system. So, okay, we'll go from there.
One of the people said they actually have many Social Security numbers, or at least more than one. Can they cash in each one?
I don't know how they've got more than one Social Security card.
Well,
they might have more than one Social Security card. If they're referring to the number on the back of a Social Security, then that's just a tracking number, okay?
Right.
It's just one number, okay? If you've got more than one number, you basically are trying to defraud something.
Well, Obama has more than one number.
No, Tom, it was me.
Okay.
This is Pat. It's the same Social Security number, but it's I've got a bunch of different cards, and it is a different tracking number on the back of the card.
Yeah, and basically it's still the same Social Security number. You're just going to close down that Social Security account.
Okay.
Yeah. That will cover any one that was ever printed. And normally, when you get one issued, and then you get another one issued, that old one is taken off the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, that was some of the stuff that was all the way back to Tony Fisher King out there trying to go after 10 Social Security cards and everything,
yes.
saying, yeah, you can get $3.6 billion per Social Security card.
Exactly, and that each
well,
one was like
a Social Security card that has the money.
Right, and that like that number was a QSIP number or something.
Yeah.
But it's not, is it?
As far as I can see, it's not. Okay.
Because I've got my very first Social Security card, and there isn't even a number on the back of it.
That's right. The first one that I got never had anything on it.
Right, it's from the 60s.
Yeah, and basically and that's the same thing with most of these other instruments. They're just sort of tracking numbers for, like, you go and write a check out, okay? Mm-hmm. It has to have a tracking number on it.
Okay. So when I go to revoke it, I only need to put one on the
just
paper.
Put the latest one you've got, whatever.
Okay.
Then if they come and see you, just hand all the rest of them to them and say, here, take these things too. Get them out of my hair.
I'll give them a bucket of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what we need to do is we need to, and basically, I don't know whether I got this stated last night, but I know I stated that DTC is the Wicked Witch of the West, okay? It's the Western witch that is out here that is destroying the country with all their bondage, okay? Now, what did Dorothy throw on the witch to liquidate the witch? Water. Now, where is the DTC located? 55 Water Street. Coincidence? I don't think so. I think it's been there for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said it right in the movie.
They knew it then and we forgot it.
Well, we just never saw it, okay?
Right.
But it's right there in front of our eyes. You send your stuff with the water to them, to Water Street.
Hmm.
So you send a bucket of water down the pike.
I have a question. Can you drive your car without car insurance?
Why would you need car insurance? Okay.
Well, I mean, what if I get stopped?
Basically, if you get stopped, you're getting stopped by the public, and basically they say, where's your car insurance? Well, why do you need car insurance? Okay? You only need insurance, and you really don't even need insurance, okay? You've got to be accused of being the liable party, causing harm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, walking down the street and you run into somebody and you knock them over and they beat their head against the wall and they have a brain aneurysm and basically $25,000 of hospital bills, do you have insurance?
Don't you have it against your VIN number?
But you don't have a VIN number on the body.
Oh, that's right.
That's what I'm saying, okay? You're running along and basically you run into somebody, okay? It was an accident. Two people were trying to be in the same place at one time. This wasn't an accident. It was an act of God.
Right.
Okay? And basically an act of God, basically, is that two people trying to be in the same place at one time. They're both responsible for their actions. This stuff about accidents is all for the lawyers to make money. It's all a conspiracy to defraud you. The whole insurance racket is. It's the magic show. The sleight of hand. Never let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. And basically that's what the insurance policy does. They're taking money from you and they're not explaining to you how you're getting the compensation back. Because you're never going to get the compensation back. They've taken it from you.
And they're not explaining who's really paying the...
Right. It's all a big fraud.
You're actually basically signing a contract where you agree that they can cheat you in any way they can think of.
Yes.
And your title insurance on your house that you pay when you get your mortgage, I mean, if you go into foreclosure, they're supposed to defend you against other people trying to take your home, which they don't do, is another act of defrauding you.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Now You See Me?
No.
Okay, you ought to try and get that.
Okay.
It's about 4 magicians. And basically, one of them was the insurance company that defrauded the people down in New Orleans. And basically, they turned around and got even with that insurance guy. They got access to his money. But you have to watch the movie and find out how they did it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we keep doing these forms and nobody reacts or responds to these forms, and then we're putting instanter on there, meaning that they have a day to respond to it, and then, we keep sending them and we don't get response, what do people think about putting, going to the Supreme Court all together, all of us as a group, to get something done?
No, you don't want to do it as a group. It's got to be done on an individual basis, and you have to basically show that you have gotten the understanding. Now, you can work in a group effort out there to try and get the understanding, but it's like what was pointed out in the movie that Now You See Me, the 4 magicians. It was bringing 4 individuals together to work together to be able to bring their items to the forefront, their expertise. But it was their expertise in their individual capacities that allowed them to go forward. But working together, it enhanced each one's capacities.
Okay.
Okay, so, but the key thing is we have been approaching these guys in the public. We have to approach them in their civil office capacities. The Attorney General, the Secretary of State, not in their public office, but in their civil office. You need to express that I am approaching you in your civil office capacity. Then when you have them in that capacity, now if they breach their civil office, then you can basically file the charges into a civil court against them. You don't go to a public court.
Okay.
They're on most of the court filings, you see that they're civil and criminal. It's the civil side that we need to be concentrating on. And you go to the magistrate of the federal district and file a civil charge in against those people. I went in and tried to do that, but I wasn't going against their civil capacity. I was just going against their office, and basically the office that they were throwing me in there against was their public office. Well, that's a fiction. Now, what the hell are you going to get out of a fiction? Nothing. That's their protective zone. I mean, it's like you going out there and you're going to fight a fight, but you're fighting a fight with a one of those punching bags. You're just going to keep throwing your punches until basically you just wear down. You're not fighting a real problem that's out there. You've got to get into the right area and put the right person into that ring with you instead of the punching bag.
So could we add to the facts to these top officials that we are approaching them not in their public office but in their civil office?
You
privately?
say that this is coming in the civil office. Yes, I stated that last night.
Right. So we need to add that to our documents.
Yes, you need to put civil in there, that you are coming in and you are addressing them in their civil capacity. This is a civil letter.
Right.
I
Or
added
a civil complaint. Yeah, go ahead.
I added on my faxes civil action. Would that be enough?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, try and put it in there as much as you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's go and read the definition about civil in Anderson, so you get a good understanding of what it is. And you have to start learning how to read between the lines, because not everything is right out there in front of you to see. You have to wake up your third eye, your eye of understanding, or your eye of knowledge, whatever you want to look at it, your enlightenment eye. Star 6 if you got a question, or you got a statement, or whatever.
I was going over your 1099A and C to basically liquidate everything. And I just want to make sure that our PEO is both a lender, the borrower, the debtor, and the creditor. So our 9-digit zip code is used in all those places, right?
No. So on the 1099A, let me see.
Your modified
1099A, we, the living, are the lender. Okay? The borrower is our fictional right-hand person. Okay? Now, depending upon the situation, it could be our left-handed fictional person, okay, which is our Social Security person, which now is the dead person if we've got an EIN for the estate.
But all of those have the same federal ID.
The federal ID,
our 9-digit zip code.
the top person on those forms has, and basically if that's us, okay, our right-hand person, yes, the federal ID is going to be that, okay? And then we will put a charge in against our, if you want to do a withdrawal or something for abandoned property, you're going to go in and you can put down your trust, your foreign grantor trust, as the borrower.
Okay.
Okay? It's not not the PEO. The PEO is going to be your right-hand person. He's always going to be at the top of those forms as the borrower, the lender, or we don't necessarily have to do the 1099-B because they're going to have to do those. Okay,
right.
But on the 1099-A and C, we're either the borrower or the creditor, or not. We're either the lender or the creditor.
Right.
And we are the Mr. Patrick Devine is going to be the principal executive officer, PEO / pro curator. Okay? We're going to come in and we're going to take, we're going to be the pro, and we're going to take it from the curator. So we're going to appropriate it from the curator. So we're going to be a procurator. And we're going to turn it over to our person, and he's going to be our minister or our administrative, our representative, our agent. However you want to look at it. Look up the word in Anderson's dictionary or in any of the others out here. Do a comparison of them. Now, in court cases, there are several items that you can do, okay? You have to come in and you basically approach the court that you're coming in as the living, okay? And that you are the curé, and you stand over this court.
Go get it, Takesha.
You stand over the dead, okay?
What's that, CD? Oh, no.
You never stand under. So you come in there and you stand over that court, and you're going to visit the cemetery. I've said this before, and I've even told the judge that. This damn place is like a cemetery. I'm walking through the damn gates in the cemetery, and everybody in this damn place is dead. I'm the only living one here. And if you don't want me in here, I'll leave. I turned around and walked out of there one day while they continued on with their damn court case, because the court case is for the dead. I said the living doesn't belong here, so I left. Well, that's the truth. But is what I should have done was shut the damn thing down by coming in there and saying, hey, I am rescinding or revoking all underwritings that are associated with this case. Therefore, you cannot have any bonds. Now, the biggest thing is, for most people in court cases,
Let him go.
you just learn the simple little phrases. I revoke all underwritings. Stop. Don't say anything more unless you fully understand what the hell you're going to say after that. Okay? If you can't defend what you're going to say after that, you stop right there. You're just showing your ignorance. Okay, so that's one statement. The next statement is that I am alleging a conspiracy to defraud. Stop. The third item, and everything operates in threes, the third item will be, if this is not resolved, it is to be moved to a civil court action. Stop. Wait for their response. If they don't shut that thing down right then and there, I would be damn surprised.
And that that set of statements is basically how to take care of driving without a license or having no insurance. Is to go through
No, that is there to take care of any public court case
Yes.
that has not involved harm or a violation of one of the Ten Commandments. But if you violated one of the Ten Commandments, the big ones, you're not going to be in a public court scenario. You're already going to be in a civil court or a higher court level.
Patrick?
Public courts are just all about insurance and all about money.
Hey, Patrick, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you use those 3 statements, say, for putting it into a simple letter form to like a mortgage company or something else other than
I would.
Yeah, it could be flexible, right?
Yes.
Oh,
You let them know that you have exposed them to what they really are, and that you will pursue any harm that they bring against you in a civil court action,
I was drinking.
to where you become the plaintiff and you get the U.S. attorneys on your side working in their civil capacity, that they now have to protect you as an American citizen and the country. They now have to come out and start operating in their civil capacity. But you have to get them there. And they don't want to go there because they know they will lose.
Thank you.
Okay? Yeah, even if you put a bond up, okay, in the public system, okay, putting that bond up for somebody in a public charge system, it was a fraud to begin with. Okay? So basically you rescind the underwriting of it. And then you claim the conspiracy that was behind the initial requirement of that bond. And then you can turn around and do a 1099-C and a 1099-B against that to claim that back from them. Let the IRS go and get it for you. And then if you've been harmed, you can always go after their bond, and you put the charge in. But also, if you do the 3949A and go after them, and the IRS goes in and inspects their books and finds out, there's a 10% finder's fee against these
30.
guys when they're exposed for the frauds that they are.
30.
Is it 30 now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yep, 30%.
Yeah. Back in Moses' time, it was only 10.
They got greedy.
No, they're giving us a break.
Oh, yeah. Yep. There's 2 other forms that go with that 3949A, Pat. The 211 form is a cover sheet, and the W-9 is the last sheet. And all you do is put on, like if you're going after the prosecuting attorney, which is usually the advisable thing to do because that shuts it down generally, is just put the attorney's name on the W-9. Try to give them a copy if you can in a 8300 form, I believe it is, or I think it's 8300. And
8300?
Yes.
Let me see. You said 211. Okay, then it would be that's the cover sheet, and then the 3949A.
Yes. And then the W-9 on the back side with just the attorney or the cop or the whoever name you, or all of the above. You just put their name alone on that W-9. Of course, the 211 is the whistleblower form, has your information, and then the 3949A, as you know, has all of their information. And I think you have the verbiage that I used on the 3949A, and I'll make sure you get the rest.
That's what I sent to you, Patrick, is his verbiage.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll get the rest of the stuff to you. Did you get the rest of the stuff to him too, Tom?
No, just that, and the one you had for the judges. There was another 3949A. I wasn't sure that was.
Who got the phone? Put the phone back over there where.
Okay, I'll make sure I get you everything then here tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, the other was you did a 3949A against the bank. I sent him that too.
Okay.
Did you guys mute that guy, please?
I don't think we'd have to mute everybody out, and then everybody has to come back in. But he's looking
fine with me. Or maybe it is. I can't hear him now.
No, though whoever has the problem with the child in the background, it's quite loud.
Yeah, mute yourself out. If you're on a speaker, please mute yourself out. Or if you're on an open mic and you've got background noise, mute yourself out, please.
He's not doing it.
Nope, he's not.
He's not on the Skype call or anything, is he?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
I don't have the possibility of muting people out on the Skype call.
Okay.
I only have about 6 people on the Skype call.
Okay.
I'm fixing to into your Skype window.
They shouldn't really interfere in that, but they might.
Okay. Well, I could try muting everybody out again, and then you come back in.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and try that again.
So you can hear me?
Yeah, I'm back on.
Okay, good.
Good.
Okay. So the 211, the 3949A, and the W9 for all the parties that were involved in what you're submitting in on the 3949A.
Right.
And was there anything else that you would put it with that?
John just transferred me the files over Skype, and I'll send them to you in an email.
Well, I was having problems with my mom's internet there.
You didn't get that
fixed
yet? Okay. Yeah, I understand that the ice in Iowa was really terrible today.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's an attachment that goes with the 3949A. There's
Could you speak up, John?
There's an attachment that goes with the 3949A. There is the 211 that's the cover sheet and the W9. And I also dropped in from a buddy of mine that I did this thing for, that the Treasury Department sent him back, letting him know that they were under investigation, and they've assigned a claim number, and anyway, I dropped that in Tom's box too, so you can see just what's going on. It came from...
Yeah, John mentioned that to me, and I mentioned to John that you'd love to see almost anything that comes back from these guys.
Yeah. And did you allege conspiracy to defraud in the process?
There's a lot of things that are alleged in there. Yes, everything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we we try to do a lot of it, but now we're starting to have a little better understanding of how the system's working here in the public realm, and we're exposing it more and more all the time in their total conspiracy out here, but they really do not have the power and the authority that they think they have.
No.
Yeah. That they're
No,
just
they're
nothing
private
more than like
contracts.
a public corporation like Walmart. Okay?
Yeah, they're all. Yes, that's exactly right, and I proved that in a ticket I got just recently, and it disappeared.
Uh-huh.
Because I proved, according to their Florida statutes, they were not acting as an agency of the state, and then in the second part of Chapter 120 point, I think it's 3.1 or 1.3, it says that they can be an agency of the state if they're acting constitutionally under the people's right to arrest, basically. Pointed that out, and they weren't acting that way because the empty seat over there was no injured party. The chief of police had sent in a certified letter to the court stating that it was not an agency of the state, so he pretty well got that one straight for me. Then I proved because it was a summons, the ticket, which they say summons on there, only a judicial officer can put a summons or issue a summons for anybody. So he was impersonating a judicial officer. He was on Manta and Dun & Bradstreet as a privately owned company, so exactly what was he doing there bothering me? And I pointed out that Walmart security guard could not write me a ticket, and neither could he. And furthermore, if he was a state law enforcement officer, I asked the judge if he could write me a ticket up in Duval County, Florida, and the judge says no. I said, well, then he's impersonating a state law enforcement officer, because if he can't write a ticket in Duval County enforcing state law and being a state law enforcement officer, then he does not have the authority to write me a ticket in Wildwood, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So it disappeared.
Yeah, I think one of the key things when we really started looking at this is that breakdown of being in the public realm or in the civil realm.
You are right.
You were touching on it, but you weren't saying it.
And they were trying to move forward, and what I finally did, because I know I would have won when I went into the appeals, but I called them and made a deal. So, and then what they did was had a secret hearing and gave me $100 court cost, and the ticket disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Is what happened. And I probably could have fought that one too, but I just went ahead and went with the program. Had other things going on, but that's what happened.
Yeah, and if we and like in my cases, I was so damn close in all my traffic tickets there. If I would have addressed it, that they have no jurisdiction in the public, and I am in the civil, and basically they are violating my civil rights out here by coming in and putting public regulations upon my civil rights.
Well, no, with me, I don't really like the word civil rights, because that is something that the government gives to us.
No, that is between us and the de jure government. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that we are under civil law. Okay.
All right.
So we have civil rights that are protected by the Constitution.
Okay.
And see, that's what most people don't understand. We think that civil rights are something that are bad. No, that is the law that we're supposed to be operating with when we have a constitutional government, is that we're operating in a civil society. And we're operating under civil laws in that civil society because we are a citizen of this civil society. But we're not in the public society or a public citizen. That the public side is over in the opposites or the mirror image of the looking glass. But you want to be on the right side in the real world, you need to operate in the civil side.
Right.
Am I explaining that right? Okay, do people understand what I'm saying here?
I can catch what you're saying there, yep.
Yes,
Okay.
I get it. I get it.
You know what?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've kind of got a question here. Okay, you get a ticket here, and the prosecutor never signs it. Can I assign a prosecutor on the civil side for that?
No. You
No?
don't want to even acknowledge it.
Don't even acknowledge the...
It's a public ticket, right?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, it is. It's a public ticket, okay? Have you caused any harm?
No. Basically,
Okay.
Okay, here, let me explain the situation. It's they wrote this thing under a driver's license, but they didn't they just used my middle initial rather than using a name on it. And I mean, the way I see it, I mean, I didn't take no oath, to protect and defend or nothing. And they did. Who's the violator?
Let me stop you right there. You did take an oath to support and defend this country. Do you ever say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The Republic, not...
Okay, then you were supporting and defending this country. You took an oath to support and defend this country.
Okay.
With that Pledge of Allegiance. That is in the du jour. But they got you into thinking, in a lot of cases, that you were really doing it for the corporate United States. That's the mindset that they do in drilling a lot of this into your mind, that really you were here to support and defend the country. Did you sign up with a selective service?
No. I was at that age where we didn't have to.
Okay. But you were still under the obligation that basically it should have been, if you were ever called upon, you should have defended the country.
Yes.
Okay. Not the corporation, but the country.
Correct.
Okay. And see, that's what a lot of people back in the 60s, they were misunderstanding and what they were really trying to do. And a lot of them went to Canada and stuff like that to try and get away from the draft. That they could have gone in and basically, like several people did, put in that they were a conscientious objector, but you could have put in that you're not going to support a corporate action. You're only there to support and defend the country. If any enemies come from abroad.
We've never been attacked other than from inside.
Yeah, it's all been inside, and basically then all the stuff that we've done overseas, like going into Afghanistan and Iraq and all that, that has all been for the protection of the corporations. So it's been all a corporate fraud. Like Robert New with refusing to wear the UN blue. They staged a total court-martial for him, but basically he still got discharged honorably because he did not have to wear the UN blue. There was nothing in signing up with the service of defending America that we had to go and become a UN Blue military person. That was joining a false army. And they couldn't prosecute him on that, but basically they sort of kept it hush-hush, and the news media made sort of a stink out of it, and then just sort of dropped it. And most people never did find out the whole story, but the news media put out all the front out there, and most of the people in the country saw the fraud side, but they never saw the true side, that he got an honorable discharge. Just like they never put out that basically, hey, as soon as you turn 25, you can quit. Your obligation to the military service is up right then and there. So basically, if you got drafted when you were 24 and a half years old for 2 years of military service, and as soon as you turn 25, you're done. You don't have to do that next year and a half, unless you were in a military zone or a battle zone. Then you would have to wait until you got back to a neutral zone, and then you can quit. But they never tell you that. That's the thing. We have to dig to find the truth. And it's not that hard. A lot of this stuff is common sense. You have it in your mind. When you know right and wrong, you've got it. You just have to put a few pieces to it to support it against them. And the dumbest outfit out here, I don't know what you guys think, but the most mind-controlled group of people in this country is the lawyers. Talk about a bunch of mindless idiots. Those people have been controlled, told what to think and what to do. They are totally controlled. They could not create anything on their own if their life depended upon it.
Yep. I went to school to be an attorney. I made it halfway.
I feel sorry for you then.
I couldn't live the lie, man. I had to quit. It was such a scam. I couldn't believe it. I was interning with one, but then when I read the House Report 3123, that did it for me. They were the lead runners of the Communist Party in this country, and Congress knew about it, and they're still living the lie, and I quit.
Yeah. Yeah, they are the most mind-controlled. You hear all this stuff about these mind-control programs and everything out here. That is the most mind-controlled program in this country.
MK Ultra.
Yeah, MK Ultra. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a few of them that have come out. I mean, like I heard about the one attorney that basically was a public defender, and he was sitting there and he was trying to be honest with people and trying to work and get them off out of the item. But if he got them off, he would get paid $500. Okay, that was his fee as a public defender. Now, if they got convicted and they went to jail, his fee was $1,350, 3.5 times. Now, if you're getting 3.5 times the amount to convict somebody, and basically mama is at home and complaining about not having this and that, are you going to really work for the person you're trying to defend, or are you going to try and go after the money? Most of those damn attorneys in that capacity go after the money. This guy couldn't stand it and said he quit.
Mm-hmm.
But that was some guy that basically had still had some common sense left in him that knew right from wrong. Most of these other guys have totally lost that, and they just continue on down the line.
Well, one of my
Okay, we're sort of getting off the track here a little. Is there anything else that people want to bring up to try and throw into the mix here?
Can some of that information be posted so we can look at those files in a separate file case, maybe?
Tom tried to post some of that, yeah.
Are you going to put it in a separate file, Tom?
Tom, you there?
Oh, me? Oh, Tom, yeah.
Got Tom. I don't know, we might have lost Tom again.
Okay, if he could, if he listens to the call, if he could post that in a separate file, it would be interesting to look at that information so that we can be maybe starting to file some of these 3949s in along with some of this.
Yeah, just post a message onto the group site there or something and ask him where he posted that. He might have that up there where he put that posting at.
This is Tom. I got dropped off for a couple of minutes. I just got back on.
Yeah, Tom, one of the guys has a question here for you about where you posted the 3949A files.
I just got them from John, and I haven't posted them anywhere yet.
Okay.
Well, can you put them in a separate file so that we can look at them?
Yes, if you want. He sent me 7 images, and I just converted them into a PDF.
That'll be great. Yeah.
And I'll post that up there.
Yeah, just put it in a separate category so we can look for something and just post it on the site what you're putting it in at.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will do that.
I've got another question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been trying to sort this out in my mind. I know we've asked the question about our wives and stuff before, but my wife has a retirement plan, and I'd like to get her out of that, because I see that it's an insurance policy, and like you say, if they close up, where's the funds are? And my question is, it's under her Social Security number, not mine. So I believe we need to close down not only my Social Security number, but hers also, so that we can close that account out and avoid, because she's not 59 and a half, avoid paying any penalty for pulling it out early. Could you comment on that?
Right. Basically, if you you're going to want to, if you're going to pull out of her Social Security, okay, and you're going to close that down, you're going to want to also lay claim to her certificate of live birth legacy account.
Correct.
Okay, and it's sort of like I said there at the beginning of the show. Okay, the movie Brewster's Million. Okay,
yep, I've watched it.
Yeah, to where he got, he was given $30 million, and he had to get rid of it in 30 days to get his true inheritance of $300 million. And basically, it was a test to see whether he could do it, but also it was to try and get him to understand the use of real money. Well, see, that's where we are in this process. We have to get rid of the Social Security. even if you lose everything that you think you have in that Social Security account, you would be 100% better off to have lost that so that you can gain your lawful inheritance.
Correct. I understand that. But what what I was asking is, since it's under her Social Security number, and what I'm seeing is that we've actually, as married people, we actually have two Social Security numbers that we probably need to close down.
Yeah. Yeah, she's going to have to be willing to close her account down too. Okay? And see, this is what they did to this country, okay, by allowing women to vote, okay? It used to be that when a man married a woman, he was supposed to claim her dowry. Her dowry was her legacy that was given to her at birth.
Correct. I understand that what you're trying to say there, but what I'm saying is they've split it on us. Since it's always been under her number,
yes.
The only way I would get it would be as if she passed away.
Well, you're not going to get it. She's going to have to get it.
Right. But I'm just saying that if something happened to her that she passed away, that was the only way I would get it as a beneficiary in their system, not what we're talking about doing here.
Yeah, and that you would have to basically allow them to process it through the system. You would have to put your claim in, and see, they would have to do a 1099B or a 1099R against that action to take out the unjustment, okay? And this is like going into the temple back in Moses' time. You would give them that document, that bull, okay, to basically sacrifice it, and you would probably get back, say, 10%, okay, whatever is left, okay? And see, they've written 10 bonds, so you should be getting the full value of that back in the liquidation with the 1099B or the 1099R. But that would be what you would have to demand from them, that they are now to process that through under a 1099B or a 1099R, because you are revoking your continuance of underwriting that a retirement. And you're also pulling all collateral. You're ordering all collateral to be removed off the table.
Okay, so first we need to close down her Social Security number, then go and ask for a 1099B or R, you're saying?
I would say when you're closing down the Social Security account, you would be closing down all associated items that go
Correct.
along with that Social Security account, and that retirement fund would be one of those products. And see, it's in the DTC, it is called a underwriting for insured products. They don't call it, they call them products, and that's what they're doing. They're producing something. The product of the DTC is basically these policies that include bonds and all the other assets that are sitting there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I realize that we're married, and I understand what you're saying about the dowry and that, but I'm saying in order to shut this system down, I think anybody that's married, or I believe anybody that's married, is going to have to shut down two Social Security accounts.
Well, no, each individual person has to shut down theirs, okay? Even though you're married, you're now, in this modern day time, you're two individuals. You're not one, okay?
Right, but we got to deal with two Social Security numbers is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but
each
what I'm
individual
saying is,
down their
what,
account.
Yeah, but that is if you're in a good marriage, okay? A lot of these people are out here are basically the wife is very timid and she's not going to go along with it. You've got to do all your stuff on your own, and then she is all over your butt because she thinks she's going to lose out on what you've got, okay? And then the other way around, sometimes it's the woman that is basically the one that is out here trying to make things go, and the guy's a little wimp in the background, and he's scared shitless of his own damn shadow. So he ain't going to do it. So, see, everybody out here, when they gave the women the right to vote, they broke up the damn family. This is their whole agenda, was to break up the family, break up the family farms, get the people into the cities, get them under the control of them, the public corporations. It was a destructive force that basically is destroying this whole damn country. And the people have to start fighting back, start understanding what a real marriage is about, and working together and consolidating and becoming one, and then becoming a true family. But you have to understand what a family is. If you claim family name, you are a servant. You are a household servant until you come of age. So when you turn 25 or 21, you are no longer a family member. You are now your own member of your clan. You are supposed to be set free.
What time pick your nails? Wow.
Huh?
Oh,
Do you have a question?
What did you want?
Oh, don't do anything. You're good.
I think someone's talking and having a conversation in the background. They're on mic.
They just said to mute out, and we overheard that. That's fine, fine. No, I understand what you're saying, Patrick, and I agree totally with you that they have tried to destroy the family.
Yeah. But
That's
like
why
I said, you just have to come in. You just have to come in, and when you want to close down your Social Security account, and she wants to close down her Social Security account, she needs to put in there that she's going to order up the liquidation of all attachments. And if they need to be processed under for settlement using the 1099A or B or the 1099R for brokerage or liquidation of that policy.
Correct. I understand that.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you clarifying that, and I appreciate you saying that there is some out there that are not yoked equally and pulling the same weight in this relationship, like you're saying.
Yeah,
becoming
I'm
one.
hoping that we can all start working together, and the families really have to start working together. They have to start helping the ones that basically they appear to be the rogues in the family. They're the ones that are to the right. They're not the ones that are wrong. I mean, basically, you could probably go to an insane asylum and learn a hell of a lot more about this than any place else.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Can you
go
hear me?
ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Chris. I had a wild idea. I want to run it past you and see what you think. If you get an office deal through the Secretary of State that forwards the birth certificate to the Vatican and put in a revocation of the birth certificate through the Vatican, do you think that might work?
No. Okay, like I tried to tell you earlier there, okay, that curator, the office of curator at the Treasury, he is in the civil side, okay? and he's working under the Secret Service. Okay, Abraham Lincoln sort of set that position up to prevent what was getting ready to take place with this public corporations under the 14th Amendment. Okay, so they set up this civil office to protect against that. That curator is the overseer to protect the American assets out here. Now, the Church of Rome became in the bankruptcy of 1933, was one of the creditors. Okay? They and we also, under the Certificate of Live Birth, we gave the state, the United States, and all of their minions access to our account for 3 7-year leases. Okay? We leased it to them. So it's an under-leasing is what we gave to them with that Certificate of Live Birth that is being held at the DTC. At the same time, that became an under-leasing document to the bankrupt creditor, the Church of Rome. It's held at the DTC. The Church of Rome is operated out of the
St. Patrick's Cathedral.
St. Patrick's Trust Building in New York City there to basically access and write bonds against those accounts for a certain amount. They've been fully paid. Their bankruptcy as a creditor, they have been totally paid off. Okay? They have made more money out of the damn deal, so they need to be totally thrown completely out of here. They're no longer a creditor in here. Now, if the United States Corporation keeps borrowing money from them, then basically that's their problem. But we're not. We need to basically pull our stuff out from being tied into that corporation and allowing them the usage of our assets as collateral for their damn bankruptcy, for the public corporations. But the Church of Rome is holding our assets there at the St. Patrick's Trust Building in cess-decay accounts. Now, the curator is the interface between the DTC and the Church of Rome. That's St. Patrick's Trust Building. We go to the curator and we order these things to be terminated. He will basically be the one to go and interface with with the DTC and the Church of Rome to bring those accounts into settlement. We don't need to go to the nitwit over there in the Vatican.
Who's the contact over there at the St. Patrick's Cathedral? Do you have a contact person?
The Cardinal of New York. Or the Vicar of...
the curator.
Yeah, the Vicar General of the Diocese of New York.
Okay, that's
He's
what
located on about the 11th floor of that St. Patrick's Trust Building. I think it's a 19 or 17-story building, something like that. I think it's pretty comparable to Building 7 there at the World Trade Center.
You called it the St. Patrick's Trust Building?
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick's got a number of documents out there addressed to them.
Oh, yeah, I've sent a bunch of shit to those guys.
Yeah.
There again, basically, we were addressing, in a lot of cases, we were going to the wrong person. If we want to have the hammer, we need to get to the curator. That's the one that really has the real hammer, that we have to approach him in our civil capacity to basically, and his civil capacity to make him move. if we come in basically acting like we're still in the public world and that he's in the public capacity, we're not going to get anything. Because we're both acting as dead people, and basically dead people can't make anything move. Yeah, only the living can make something move. If you're dead, you're dead.
So we've got to be doing that also in the States then, too.
Well, no, because basically all the states are tied back to the DTC. And all the funds are tied to the Treasury of the country. The states have drawn from the Treasury of the country.
Okay, so we're just notifying them when we're sending the documents to the states that you were saying too?
Yeah, basically, if you want to, you could notify the civil office of the Attorney General and the civil office of the Secretary of State that basically you are ordering all underwritings to be terminated.
To be revoked.
Yeah, that you're revoking all, and basically the same thing with state income taxes. Okay? See, we were supposed to be the insured person in this country. Okay? They wrote all these insurance policies out here using our assets. Our assets were supposed to be working for us, not against us. And see, we have to come in and we revoke being the underwriter on those. Now they have to go and bring those items into settlement from the insurance company that is out there that has the assets to pay the income tax. This is what I told the Attorney General about 3 years ago. I said, when you pay me, I will be more than glad to pay any income tax that basically I'm claimed that I owe. But until I'm paid, I'm not paying you a damn thing. And I haven't paid them anything since that point in time. I've thrown a bunch of paperwork at them, but basically that's been about it. But now I really know how to go after them because it's all about insurance. And I revoke being the underwriter for the voter registration card, for the driver's license, for the certificate of title to the vehicle. Any state document. Somebody had a question there? Go ahead.
He said state taxes.
Yeah, that was what that revocation of election was all about, is making a statement that you're revocating participation with the IRS as to them considering you a corporate entity for taxation purposes.
Yeah, but when you revoke, okay, it's not the IRS that you need to do a revoking with, okay? It's with who is holding the insurance policy, the insured product, okay? And that is the state, either under the certificate, state usage of the certificate of live birth, continued usage of it, your certificate of title to your vehicle, your see, that's what you owe insurance or your taxes on, is because they are claiming, okay, the insurance company writes bonds. Then they're using the Federal Reserve debt notes. The Federal Reserve debt notes are a product of the Federal Reserve, which is a foreign corporation. It's not from the United States. It's totally foreign to the United States. So it's a foreign company. They owe tariff taxes. The tariff taxes they owe is called income tax for the usage of that foreign money system, the debt money system. So any insurance policy that you have out here is using foreign money, debt money. That's what income tax is really is the tax on. They don't want the money out of your back pocket. They want the money that basically is the debt money that is over under that insurance policy. But see, they never told us how to make the insurance company pay. And there's only one way that you can make the insurance company pay, and that is to revoke being the underwriter. You need to be the secured party standing over them. Like I said last night, it's like when I was growing up, we used to have these shit houses out here. Now they call them porta-johns, I think. But these all had a hole underneath them, and then basically the little shack sat over the top of them. Well, basically, what they've got us in is we're sitting down in the shithole, and they keep shitting on us. We need to get out and start standing over that so that we don't get shit on. And that's where you need to start understanding how to process these 1099-Cs against them to cancel the debt, and then also do the revocation or the revoking of that being the underwriter. Now that insurance company has to make the settlement. And then when you pull the collateral away from them, because your lease is up. It was only supposed to be a 3 7-year leases to use your certificate of live birth. Or 21 years. And then the Social Security account was only supposed to be a 7-year lease, just like the obligation of a serviceman was, or a military, or a man born of this country was to be from 18 to 25. When you turned 25, you were supposed to be declared a free man under no bondage. But everybody in this country is running around in bondage. Even all these ministers, okay? They can't be a minister because a minister is supposed to be a representative. And a representative has to be a free man. But all of these ministers are under bondage. Why would you ever go to somebody that's under bondage? It's ludicrous.
Makes a lot of sense what you're saying. Thank you.
Well, you got any further comment? I'm just throwing this shit out. I get on a roll like this, and basically I just cut loose.
That's good. We need it.
Anybody else out there with a comment on this regards?
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
Is there any office or department you have not sent any of your stuff into?
Well,
agriculture.
I think you hit it almost right. Agriculture. You must have hit every office on Earth.
Well, I've tried to hit just about every one of them. I never did file anything. The one court that I never did file anything into, I think, was the tax court. Even though they tried to get me, the IRS tried to threaten me with going to tax court. I never did put anything into that place. Well, there's a few places out there that I never really did do too terribly much to, but basically it's all right here in the Treasury. We knew that all along, okay? And when everybody tried to go after, well, it's over here in Puerto Rico, and it's over here in the Department of Agriculture, and it's over here in the Department of Interior. No, well, basically it's in the damn Treasury, okay? It's got to be there, okay? You don't claim that the Department of Agriculture is the Treasury or anything like that. Now, they can have access to the stuff, but they cannot hold the assets. And see, in this country, like I said last night, this country was set up constitutionally that there was never to be a debtor's prison in this country. That the assets of we the people were supposed to basically pay the debts for the people if they got into a debting scenario.
Oh, you mean to say that the prison has 90% of our 90% people in their debtors?
In the prison system right now? Yeah. Under the public system? Yeah. 90% of the people are in there as basically being public debtors.
All they have to do is do a
all they have to
1099
do is do a revocation or a revoking of being the undersigner of that alleged conspiracy and demand a court hearing under civil law.
What about that International Court of Claim? Do you feel that there's any possibility of filing a civil claim there as opposed to?
I don't think we need to go there yet. Okay, I think when we hit this curator, basically, and we come in with the right understanding into them, we will shut the thing down. Especially when we do a revocation or a revoking of being the undersigner, and we also order all of our under leasing documents to be removed as collateral. That shuts everything down.
Can you move when you type?
Huh?
You're getting that typer there. There's somebody typing with the mute button on. I think it's the guy that was talking to you there.
Just mute the mic on your top of your Skype board there, Chris, when you're not talking.
No problem.
Okay. Did we lose the call again?
No. Patrick, don't you think it might be good if there is maybe a joining of people that would make one document to the curator, or do you think it's better for all of us to do separate documents to the curator?
It's best you can use sort of a template, but basically you should not make it a pat form, okay? You need to show the individuality, okay? So you need to modify it somewhat to your understanding in the process, okay? That way it shows that you are an individual, and that basically you're just not following along with somebody else's footsteps and trying to get something for nothing. That you put some effort into it. I've probably done too much in that regard out here for the people and putting all my templates up there for people. I was just trying to put those up there as a guiding life for you in the process, so that you would start thinking.
Yeah, I've been trying to modifying them as I'm doing them, Patrick. You're just rephrasing it, so because the more you can have it be a little bit different, they don't see it as just somebody copycatting this stuff, and they don't really know it. When you do have some differences in there, they know that you're doing your own thinking.
Any other comments, questions, enlightenments to throw forth?
So the last thing I'd like to ask a little bit more about is you said the curator will deal with the people at the Holy Roman Church as far as the Seth Decay Trust goes.
Yeah. You could put in there that you are revoking, okay, or that you have ordered the removal of the certificate of live birth as a leasing document with the DTC, and notify the Church of Rome, and now that you are ordering the release of your Sesticate Trust to the Vicar General there at the St. Patrick's Trust building, and then you also CC or you send that same notification over to the curator, then that they have 3 days to comply. And you're coming in under the civil capacity of giving them 3 days.
Right.
See, we tried this 3-day stuff with these guys, but if you're dead, what the hell is 3 days?
Resurrection.
No. It's nothing. You're dead. 3 days don't mean shit to you. Okay?
Right.
That 3 days to a living person means 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get them into the civil capacity, 3 days is 3 days.
Right.
Now you see why we didn't get shit done in 3 days? Is because we were dealing with the dead.
Yeah, you weren't in your civil capacity, putting them in their civil capacity, or you being in your civil capacity.
Yes. We have to be in our private capacity operating with their civil office capacity. And see, that's what it says, is that in civil, okay, civil law can only deal with the private. Public law can't deal with the private.
Right.
They can only deal with the fictions.
So we don't have to say court of chancery and all that stuff anymore. We just use those terms of being our private capacity with their civil capacity in office.
Yeah. You make it a private filing into their civil office capacity. But you still use your principal executive officer / procurator coming in there.
So they left this one little tunnel, one little loophole to get out, like one little passage to get out. But otherwise, most people are pretty well boxed in their whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky we even discovered this because of you,
Well, it wasn't because of me. It was just because basically it's been out there. Some other people have done it, so I'm not a great wizard or anything like that.
Well, you understand it enough to tell us.
I'm just sort of like little Alice, trying to get back to the real world.
Hey Patrick, I've got a great quote I can read. This is a civilian. A civilian under international humanitarian law, also known as the law of war, is a person who is not a member of his or her country's armed forces or militia. The civilians are distinct from combatants. They are afforded a degree of legal protection from the effects of war and military occupation. In the United States, I don't know what that word means. A civilian is also considered not only an active, not on active duty in the armed services or not on a police or firefighting force. So that's a pretty good description, the international humanitarian law. I'll post the humanitarian law in the Skype window for everybody.
Okay.
Here it is for everybody. Tom, you can send that up to everybody else that's not on the Skype.
Okay. Well, that's the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, that's the international humanitarian law. It gives you the, I guess it would be under the International Bill of Rights as to who's a combatant and who is not and how they're protected. It gives you the whole spiel on it.
Yeah, if they would just honor that. They never do. Hell, we kill more non-combatants out here than we do combatants. That's the name of their game, is to kill the ones that really have the knowledge. Or trying to operate in the right understanding.
Is that why people get, what is it called, friendly fire?
Mm-hmm.
When they get killed by their own?
Yeah. Yeah, they call it friendly fire or whatever, yeah. And, yeah, it's just a way for the military to sort of wash their hands and say, well, I agree, it wasn't our fault.
They were just in the way.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of think that when you stop and think about the birth certificate and it actually being either established and or maintained by the Vatican, is that the Vatican...
Chris, please. It's not maintained by the Vatican, okay?
Well, they have original jurisdiction.
It's maintained by the curator, but it is being held at the DTC. It has not left this country. The Vatican, the Church of Rome, okay, and knock the Vatican off, just say Church of Rome, because it's a mercantile side of the system out here, a merchant side for the jewelry, okay? That's a Jezebel system over there in the Church of Rome, okay? Now, the certificate of live birth is sitting in the DTC. They're using it as an underlayment leasing document. You have to come in and have it ordered removed. The Vatican basically is the Church of Rome basically came over here, just like all the monarchs out of England and Europe, the money changers attacked this country in when they set up the 14th Amendment. They caught us when we were in a divided state. Okay? We were just trying to recover from a civil war. And they slipped themselves in under this guise. But they had set this thing in motion back in 1814 to bring this country down.
That's right.
But it didn't happen right overnight. It was this is a conspiracy that is more than one lifetime. It has to be slipped in a little piece at a time, just like in that movie, Now You See Me. One of the key things was basically this guy that was the father of the detective basically had put a card signed by the guy that ran the carousel in a tree 18 years before he did the trick. It was a long-term planned trick. But everybody out here is operating under the guise, boy, if I don't see it in 6 weeks, you lose total thought about what the hell's going on. And then you start believing half this other garbage out here that is totally debunked, and we've debunked most of it out here, that they do not have the authority or the control that everybody thinks they have. You show me where that fucking Pope over there in Rome has any fucking control over us here. We're free people. He's not going to tell me whether I can go to heaven or go to hell. No priest, no minister has ever got anybody into heaven.
Except Christ.
You have to get it yourself. And you have to get your heaven on earth. And that means you have to fight for your inheritance if you want it. But you can't let somebody else do it for you. You have to do it.
In regards to that guy that won his case this week by saying that he would not underwrite, is there any court record that actually has the conversation or the transcript of that conversation that dismissed
Chris,
that?
you're not going to find anything in that regards. We've told you that before, that basically when they shut down something like this, do you think they want it recorded? Hell no.
Yeah.
They just remove it off the books. It's gone. It disappears. We've gone over that before, that trying to find something that basically we've heard some of this stuff, like the couple up in North Carolina that basically were in there on tax charges, the husband and wife. They did something in court. We never did find out what they did in court. But basically 2 days later, they had the men in black coming to them to pick up all their damn documents. It's not recorded what the hell what they did. They're not going to allow it out. The woman down in Texas that basically sent something into D.C., and then all of a sudden they come down there and bring 12 men in black there with a briefcase attached to one of the guys that is carrying 6 bearer bonds, gold-backed bearer bonds, down to her. So each gold-backed bearer bond is $500 million, So roughly about $3 billion. That's why there was 12 guards there when they brought him to her. She told them to take him back and put him there, but she wanted access.
Yeah.
She disappeared.
Yep. Yep.
We're not going to find, when you start seeing the light, you disappear. Jesus Christ, okay? When he came out of the system, he was now in the civil system. He was no longer to be seen in the public system. So he disappeared. And that's what we're going to do. When we get out of the public system, we will essentially have disappeared right in front of everybody. Because we won't have a driver's license. We won't have all of this other garbage out here that has to identify a dead person. Any other comments on this? Think I'm right? Think I'm wrong? Think I'm totally off my rocker?
No, it's very consistent with what you've been saying.
I agree. Take a deep breath, though.
Yeah, and it'll be nice when we'll get some type of ID or something, like that, and something written on the back of a card that says to leave us alone. That we're principal executive officers of America.
And we're official visitors.
Yeah.
Well, I think a couple court cases that you end up going to doing this process will finally dawn on them that it's better off to leave you alone, because if this is a national secret or a trade secret that they've got going on, they certainly don't want anybody else to know about it.
Right, and basically if you get it into a federal court system and basically you rescind all signatures in that court, basically you're probably going to be like that couple up there in North Carolina, and you're going to have the men in black coming and picking all your shit up for you.
Would you say that would be the Secret Service is actually doing that performance?
Yes. The Secret Civil Service.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick.
There was a Civil Service Act in 1862. Okay, you got to take a look at that, and then you ought to also read the Civil Service Act of 1883. I think it is.
Yep.
The Pennington Act of 1883. Yeah, go ahead. You have somebody had a question there?
No, I was just, it's a comment. I saw a movie, old movie. It's called And Justice for All. Al Pacino.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about you because you're always referring back to movies. And that one was really interesting about the corruption in the legal system. And Al Pacino was trying to be an honest lawyer. It was really good. It's just a comment.
No, they've been trying to put a lot of this stuff out there in front of us. And one of the scary things right now is that this year, they put out 2 movies. One was called White House Down, and the other one was called Olympus Has Fallen. But there was one other movie that was out here, and that was Die Hard number 4, to where basically they destroyed the White House. So there is something on the mill here that they are getting ready to destroy the White House, the country, the political system. Now, you have to try and get this stuff done as quick as possible because there is no time left. Okay? You sit on the fence any longer, and basically, it may be too late right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we will go down fighting in the process. At least we're trying. Okay?
Patrick, that one act from 1862, is that the Civil Service would be the Militia Act? Because there is no Civil Service that I see.
Basically, if you, I'm pretty sure it was referenced in under the civil definition of in Anderson's dictionary, referencing the 1862 Civil Act.
Okay, I'll just put Civil Act in there. That may be the better way of doing it. Okay.
Yeah, but go in and into Anderson's and look up the definition of civil.
Mhm. Okay.
Anderson's has done a damn good job of trying to reference all the statutes. Bouvier's tried to do a pretty good job of it, but there again, Bouvier's was being written there also as for the attorneys. Okay? But he was doing it from standpoint of trying to do it for the betterment of the attorneys. Now, Bouvier's and Black's has been working for the deceptive side of the attorneys, because when you go in there and you'll find some of the definitions are almost 180 out of what Oxford Universal, Anderson's, and even Webster's has in there. And see, that's, you want to learn the things, you have to understand the words or have knowledge of the words, how they're written, how they're broken down, how they were put together to make new words. Okay, in a lot of cases they took 3 words to make 1 word and then gave a completely different meaning to it. Sort of like the word FWCK meant when a sovereign was getting messed with back in Roman time. And then the English took that, they changed it to FUUCK, and then they dropped one of the U's, and then they put a sexual connotation to that word, removing the power that it had as a sovereign word. And see, that's what they've done in a lot of cases. They've taken some of the powerful words that we had at our disposal and removed them from us. Just like you get more attention when you rant and rave than you do if you go and kiss somebody's ass. You get acknowledgement right now. I'm sorry if I offend anybody in my language, but that's my language, and
that's life.
I really don't have to apologize for what I do. Because my God accepts what I do.
Well, what did the sovereign word FWCK mean?
It meant when a sovereign was getting messed with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, getting deprived of something.
Mm-hmm. You were fucking with them.
Yeah, what we use the word, well, not, but most people put the sexual connotation and say, you can't use that word, that's sexual. That's harassment. Okay? We know what we're really trying to say when we use that word.
Yeah.
because basically we've been there before. Your knowledge in your brain is like a little computer, and the more you unlock that, the more knowledge that you have from a past life starts appearing, because the spirit cannot be destroyed. Right and wrong cannot be changed. Okay, any other questions?
Patrick, as you know, a lot of the people have been arrested for driver issues, no driver's license, no insurance, no state tag, and have been thrown into jail. And then their cars were sold while they were in jail. And then they had done a couple of months in jail. Then they were kicked out on the street. Time served. Would you comment on how those people can get remedy?
Yeah, basically go back and go after their bond, okay, with a 1099-C. Or if you want your real remedy, go after, okay, go after your certificate of live birth. Shut down your Social Security account. Get your real assets. Let the past stay in the past. Okay, it's over and done with. Use it as a learning experience. Okay? Just because your father spanked you when you were 5 years old, are you going to hold it against him the rest of your life? Comment, please.
Well, most
Yes
people,
or
I think,
no?
are afraid
Yes
of it
or
happening
no?
again.
Huh?
Yeah, that's a no. Right, but we're
Okay.
all worried about it happening again.
You're not going to have it happen again when you understand that you revoke being the undersigner.
Right. I know. I've written it down on every page we write of notes
Yeah.
we have. I got that.
And
So
see,
yeah,
even the people that are in prison, if they're listening to this, okay, if they're able to hear, all you have to do is revoke being the undersigner. And then you basically allege a conspiracy to defraud, and then order up that you want to have a rehearing in a civil court scenario, not a public court. You want a civil defender. You don't want a public defender. A civil defender will not get any extra pay. They're already being paid. You take them out of the public realm, they're not going to get any extra money. Those judges ain't going to get any extra money because they're in their official governmental capacity. They're already paid. See what you just did to them? You took the money away from them. You take the money away, and basically now they have to fulfill their obligations. I hope I'm making some sense here.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's great. I'm happier and feel more relieved than ever since we have this strategy now to revoke being the undersigner and rescind any public insurance contracts.
Yeah, and the more you talk about this, okay, and that's why I tried to re-stress this, to get into sort of groups and talk this over. If nothing else, if you don't have that capability, go stand in front of the mirror and talk to yourself about this. Put it down on an audio. Listen to the audio. Come back and make a new audio with yourself talking to your computer, to where you get it ingrained into your mind, to where you can just rattle this shit off right and left. And when you start rattling like that, it scares the living shit out of them.
Patrick, this is Jeff in Idaho. During my last, in August, you were in our little custody battle after I purged of the child support. I got him back, my son, but I had been texting my ex-wife about removing our signatures and liquidating the marriage certificate, but she never talked about it. She brought it up in the courtroom, and you should have seen that judge's face when she brought up, well, he's been talking about we can liquidate, take our signatures off the marriage certificate, and as if it never was. And I didn't push it much farther. I didn't have all the understanding I have now, but the look on his face, it's like his glasses dropped when he saw that. And I didn't want to rock the boat at that time. I just wanted to get out of there with custody and end the whole matter at that point. But reflecting back on it, his eyes lit up like a I wish I had a little more knowledge. And last night you mentioned the 3-year bond. Hey people, I had a cop out here 2 years ago doing a police report, and he asked for my social. I wouldn't give it to him. I said use my ex's social. He redirected 4 other questions, came back to the social, and I said, if I give you that number, are you going to write liens and bonds against my account? And he said, yes, I am. When you go to the DMV, they put a UCC financing statement, a blank one, right in front of you when you register or do a driver's license, and we sign a blank contract at the bottom. When we slow down at the DMV and we start looking at some of the things we're signing, if it wasn't for all the trial and error, I wouldn't have half the knowledge I have now. So just so you guys know, the 3-year thing is absolutely true. And we're out here signing blank UCC finance statements. How dumb are we?
And basically we can revoke any and all documents that we've had out here going in.
Well, that makes a lot more sense to do it what you're doing right now, but it's amazing.
Yeah, that's marriage certificate. Basically, the state became a third party in that. That became an insurance contract. They were writing bonds against your wife's assets and your assets out there, making a profit off of that, and the insurance was supposed to make up the difference, was supposed to pay any child support that was needed if one of the parents left the scene. Okay, so yeah, that judge definitely, you said he knew exactly when about revoking the signature on that contract.
Oh, but it even gets funnier, Patrick, because remember when he threw me in jail for the contempt 2 years ago, and I mailed in the administrator or the executor had been found docs and some sovereignty stuff to him privately. It didn't do any good, of course, but in that courtroom, she kept bringing that up. Well, he's this, and he thinks these laws don't apply to him, and he's this. And the judge just looked at her and said, ma'am, but he handed me back that paperwork. Oh, man, this is in the file. I don't need this in this file. And he handed it back to me. And I just basically shuffled it into my paperwork, but it was kind of funny. And here's what he said. He said, "Ma'am, this is America. If Mr. Agood wants to be a constitutionalist or anything else, he can be whatever he wants to be. Now, I may not agree with him personally, but he can be whatever he wants to be." And that was the end of it. And, you know, I keep thinking about that, and he's absolutely right. I can be a PEO, I can be the curator, or the cura, I can be all of them. And when we find out we have a little more power in these courtrooms, I think he gave me pretty much everything I wanted, and I didn't even have to say anything because of the things that have been filed. And now, if I would have known a little bit more about the conspiracy part, boy, that might have really got fun in that courtroom.
Yeah, and you brought up one important thing. We've used that statement that in our documents, the office found doctrine, okay? The office found doctrine that we need to address in there, that this is to be addressed to the office found, to the civil office to be found to support this action. We don't want the public office, we want the civil office to be found.
No, that makes a lot more sense. It's very clear, and it defines the office, and it puts some boundaries to it.
Yeah, that's the office that we want found, is the civil office, not the public office.
Patrick?
See, it all goes to the public office right now.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Under the court system, if anybody wants this information, if you go to 28 U.S.C. 1331, it says the district court, not the United States District Court, but the district court shall have original jurisdiction over all civil actions arising under the Constitution, laws, treaties of the United States. That would be what you would quote as to elicit what he's talking about.
What's that reference again?
28 U.S.C. 1331.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was also two other ones there that I put up there before. 14. Let me see, what the hell was it? 1491 and 1392, I think.
Is the both in 28 USC?
Yeah.
I think they were. Okay, I'd used those way back a year and a half ago or so. I can't remember what they are right now.
But didn't you match up 1441 as being also identical in the CFR 1441? Was not what we were looking at?
I think so. There was something in there. I can't remember right now, but yeah, it was when we were doing a bunch of court cases there.
I'll look it up real quick here. Oh, by the way, everybody, Patrick had mentioned that the courts were converted into commerce courts in 1910. Anybody that wants that information, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, see, they tried to set it up in 1887, set up the commercial commerce courts after they passed the Interstate Commerce Act in 1887, and also brought in this insurance, liability insurance into this country. They didn't get it passed then. They brought it into play in 1910 and set up this commercial commerce court. It had 5 judges, and it only lasted roughly 3 years, and then supposedly it went away. but it never really did go away. It was re-resurrected in 1938 under Roosevelt in the Bankruptcy Act of 1938. I forget what the hell the name of that was, but that's when, and that's the court system that we have presently out here, is this interstate commerce court system out here in the public realm. Okay? And see that, if you ever watched the movie Alice in Wonderland, the Queen and her court, basically, they will have you guilty before you even have the trial. I mean, you need to sort of watch those cartoons. Cartoons are a good source of knowledge of what is really taking place out here. Really, it is. And see, they're trying to educate the young children before they get totally polluted by the adults. So cartoons are a good source.
Patrick,
still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Patrick, we've been told that arrest warrants are actually checks. Those people who are arrested on arrest warrants, if it's been within 3 years, how can they make a claim on that arrest warrant?
Well, see, basically they let them go, okay? They've never been brought into closure. And see, they keep rolling them over. Okay, it's just like your driver's license. If it's never been fully closed, the court will turn around and re-roll that over. So it now gets a new 3-year period. But on arrest warrants, okay?
Right.
They have never clearly identified, and they are violating the laws of what a warrant is required. You need to read the definition of a warrant. The judge, the clerk of the court, and even the police officer, the sheriff, they are all violating what a arrest warrant requires of it. They need to clearly identify who the item is to be arrested, just like a search warrant. If they do not clearly identify what needs to be searched, what they're looking for, then if they find something else, they cannot bring that into court.
Okay, but if the arrest warrant is a check and the check was never used, then a claim could be made against the warrant or the check. How is that able to be done?
Well, they're writing bonds against your fictional person.
Okay, so then we need to make a claim against the bond, correct?
Well, you need to basically remove being the underwriter, and you need to put a conspiracy charge in against them.
All right.
To get that arrest warrant removed. That they are conspiring to arrest the wrong person, to cause you harm.
Exactly.
And like I said, some of this stuff, you basically get this rest of this shit shut down, and a lot of that other stuff will totally go away. You worry about the little things, and you don't worry about the big thing. How ludicrous is that? You got $100 million sitting there, and you're worried about $1,000. All the time and the effort you worry about the $1,000, you're losing the $1 million over here. That's what they want you to do. They want you to concentrate on the little thing so that they can take the big thing behind your back away from you. Yeah, it was 1346 and 1491. Okay, were the two statements about the court system.
What repeat that again?
1346.
1346, Title 28 USC, 1346.
And 1490.
And 1491.
Okay, thank you.
1491. Patrick, give us a quick synopsis of how we would do getting back a home that we were evicted from in a foreclosure.
Go get a new one.
Yeah, go get all your money and get a new one.
Yeah.
Not exactly the answer I'm looking for.
I mean, you're out of that one, okay? It's in the past. Do you want to live in the past, or you want to go to the future and pick up something better? I know you want that, what you've got back. You want to have revenge and everything in that regards. But basically, if you've got, like I said, if you got $1,000 sitting there, and you got $100 million sitting over here, can you not walk away from that $1,000 like Brewster did, or Richard Pryor did in Brewster's Million? Walk away from the $30 million to get the $300 million. But initially, he walked away from having $1 million in his hand to go to the $30 million, and then he had to get rid of the $30 million so that he could get the $300 million. Sometimes you have to let things go. It's a drain on you. It was a bad investment. You didn't understand what you did when you bought that house. You fucked up. Admit it. I fucked up. Right, Chris?
No comment.
Okay.
Go get the money and buy it back at whatever you want if you like it that much.
Yes, I have fucked up a hell of a lot in my life.
Me too.
Okay. You have to admit that you were wrong and that you did something wrong and get on with your life. But you
Is
did
it confession night?
Huh?
Is it confession night?
I didn't understand what you said.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either.
Is it confession night?
Are you having
confession night? Everybody's confessing, so I'm asking. Is it confession night?
Oh. There you go, Pat.
Okay. Yeah, we're just we just need to start waking up.
Yeah.
We need to admit that we were wrong in some of the regards and get on with our life. We need to apologize for doing something wrong every once in a while. And I've done one hell of a lot of apologizing for making several mistakes and different things over the last 4 or 5 years. I thought I was on target, and then I have to come back and say, nope, I apologize. If that had caused any harm, I'm sorry that I wasn't trying to harm anybody in anything that I've done. I was trying to put it out there to help people, to bring them to an understanding and keep this whole process going so that we could move forward. But yeah, we have to acknowledge that we have made mistakes, and we have to move forward.
Hey, Patrick. I suggest one never say that they are sorry. They should only say that, please forgive me. You want to be forgiven. Of course you're sorry, but you want to be forgiven.
Well, you have to say you're sorry to yourself, okay?
Tonka posted an interesting and relevant phrase. We confess and purge ourselves of all indiscretions of undersigning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah, and that was sort of out of what they were trying to get, what's his name, in the movie Majestic, was to purge himself of all of his indiscretions.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically balked at that and said, I don't need to purge myself of those indiscretions. I'm going to stand by the Constitution, Article 1. And basically shut down that damn kangaroo scenario of, basically it was a mock-up of what the
McCarthy was doing.
McCarthyism was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a thought. Hey, we're talking about being the undersigner, and we're actually the creditor, right? And the Curia thing you've been talking about. Okay, why don't we just flip the document upside down and sign it on the top on a presentment?
Well, or just sign the top of the document and say, basically, this document is voided. Here, this document below is hereby voided. It's sort of like I said there at the beginning. I was talking to this one guy who was an ex-minister, and he said, in what I just did today, he said, Paul signed all of his documents at the top. He never signed them when he wrote something, he never signed below them. He always signed his name before he wrote what he was doing.
Yeah.
So that the words followed came from him.
Well, we always sign like after the X. Well, in actuality, we would sign and then the X would follow that. And I mean, they're the ones that are upside down the way I see it. We're the creditors.
Yeah, we've got to sign on the top.
Well, it would be the top if we determine what the top is.
Well, we just sign on the top, and then we put the stamp down on the bottom. Okay? So we basically sign.
Your signature would actually show up on the way they see it. It would be upside down, but you're determining what the top of the document is.
Yeah, but when you put an order into the court, this order is coming from Patrick Devine, being presented by, and then you sign Patrick Devine, and then you put your order below your signature. And then at the bottom, when you're done with your order, you put a stamp, and then you emboss that stamp at that point in time. So you've completed your statement. You are stamping the completion. You have just now posted your statement. See where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
It now becomes a more powerful document because now you're standing over that document. You're not standing under it.
I'm just thinking, if you're pulled over, and they're standing there and want you to sign.
You got to speak up a little. I can't hear you.
You're very faint.
Yeah, if you're just, you get pulled over on the side of the road and they want you to sign this document, you just turn it upside down and sign it. Then you figure out what the top is and let them worry about how to handle it. You're on top.
You just say, I refuse to be an undersigner. Are you operating in the public capacity or are you operating in the civil capacity? You have to ask that cop, what capacity is he operating in? Okay? If he's operating in the public capacity, okay, all he can give you is a warning. You notify him that in the public capacity, all you can give me is a warning. I'm in the private. I'm not in the public. And I have revoked all undersigning, so basically you cannot write a ticket against something that basically you have no bonding capability of. So if you've revoked your driver's license, you've revoked the title to the car, they cannot write a ticket against that. That is now private property. Private property means they fucking can't touch it. In other words, they can't write a bond against that.
That's right.
And that's what you need to address in that. They can the security guard in Walmart can only give you a warning not to run down the aisle. They can't go and give you a bill for running down the aisle. Say you've got to pay that bill before you leave the store. Can they?
Correct.
You're going to tear it up and throw it right back in their face. Say, are you crazy? I'll never come back to this damn store. And see, that's what when we come out of this system, we're never going to come back to this public system again. We're not going to correspond with them. We don't need them. We will only interface with them in a civil capacity of just exchangement. That's how you disappear. Your name never appears on anything anymore. You pay with lawful money. You don't have a credit card. You don't pay that way. You don't allow them to access your funds. So you have basically just disappeared right in front of their eyes.
Yep.
Now you see me?
Now you don't.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty about it, if they move forward, you can always do a 3949A on their ass for tax embezzlement and for profiteering in a public civil servant office.
Well, you can also go to a sheriff's office and basically bring the sheriff into the civil side of the situation and have them arrest that other party for causing you harm.
Exactly. Yep, because that would be a common law injury.
Yes. Well, don't use common law, okay? Please stay away from common law. That has gotten a lot of people into trouble because you say common law, and basically the public can use common law against you because there is a lot of public law that is now common out here. Anything that has been done for so many years basically now becomes common law, common usage law, law that has been used is what becomes common law. So you got to be careful when you use that term, common law. You want civil law. You want the de jure constitution of the state, of the country, the obligation of that office out there. And then you also operate under natural law of knowing right and wrong.
Okay.
I have a question.
Any more questions, guys?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, hi. I just wanted to verify the spelling for underlayment. Is it UNDERLAYMENT? One word?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
But under leasing is what I think is what they've primarily done. And I think you'll find that one in the dictionary is under leasing. And so
right.
these became an under leasing document, this certificate of live birth and the DD 214 form. They became the under leasing because we are leasing our assets to them.
Right. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Any other questions? Comments?
Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a letter from the state of Minnesota that says that they're revoking my license for not showing a proof of insurance back in October. So I guess I got to send them a thank you letter and tell them I agree with them and that I'm revoking all of it then.
Yeah. They're going to revoke any signature on that document, and therefore all insurance policies being utilized under that driver's license are also revoked, and you will be notifying the DTC underwriting division to make sure that this is complied with.
And they're
right.
not going to like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like the way they put all the requirements for reinstatement of it too.
Oh yeah.
You know, 30 days and got to pass a Class D driver's license and pay a $30 reinstatement fee and provide proof of insurance and on and on. I'm going to just thank them that I don't have to do all that now.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to comment about is I was in a court case where they wanted me to remove some equipment that I had on my personal property, and they were trying to use zoning on that and stuff, and I wrote up a bunch of stuff in there, and I told the judge that she didn't have jurisdiction over me, and she tried to get me to argue with her, and I just kept standing on my paperwork. And she didn't like that, and she actually had the bailiff remove me from the courtroom because I wasn't complying with what she wanted me to do.
Yeah. Well, what you need to do.
I was standing on my paperwork, and she didn't like that. She wanted to hold me in contempt of court for standing on my paperwork.
Yeah. And see, they really can't charge you with contempt. I shot down a judge on that damn deal. Said basically, you try and charge me with contempt, I'll just purge myself of that contempt. So you might as well not even go there. So they didn't. And but
she just had me removed from the courtroom.
Yeah. On your deal there with the zoning, okay?
Yeah.
The zoning only applies to basically property that they have jurisdiction over, okay? So when you remove the signing for that certificate of title to that property, okay, you have
Right.
now removed their control of having zoning control over that property. Now,
Right.
only if you have caused harm can they ever file a charge against you.
Harm in what manner?
Any.
That you are harming your neighbor by basically cutting a tree down and having it fall on the neighbor's property or something like that, causing damage. But basically anything else, they are going to have to prove that you have caused harm. See where I'm coming from?
Yep. I wish I would have
Okay.
known that 3 years ago. I could have saved my business because of that.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. But basically we just have to get on with our life.
Right.
We can go and build a new business, a hell of a lot bigger business, better business, and everything else. With what we've got available out there, we just have to go and now unlock that and pick that up.
Right. I see that. Thank you.
And see, that was one of the key things that was at the very end of the movie, in that now you see me, okay? After the movie is not totally over, when they start with all the items at the end of the movie, talking about who is who and all this. You wait a couple minutes, and there's another sequence there that basically shows them driving through the desert and going to this junkyard, and all of a sudden they go into this one place, and there's a whole bunch of trunks there that have this all-seeing eye on them, and basically they have to find the key to unlock it. Well, the key was the cards that they had when they were back in the movie. So I probably told you too much, but I want you to make sure you see that, and that's where now they started getting access to their real funds. They got their pay for what the 2 years or whatever they were doing, working for this cop to pull off this item that they did.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go rent that for Christmas then, because I've watched the Richard Pryor one the other night. I like that one. I've watched the Merchants of Venice. I like that one, and I watched Interstate 60. All of them are very relevant to what you're talking about. I've got to rent this other one. I haven't. We're 80 on the list at the library, so it's taken a while to get it. So I'm going to just go rent it for Christmas.
Okay.
You can download them all by torrent.
The Adjustment Bureau is also a good one too. I watched that one.
Yeah, that was another good one. Yeah, and see, that one gives you your free will.
Yep.
And that's what you need to fight for.
Yep.
Yeah. I have free will, and you cannot control my will. And it is my will that, and see, we came into this life, okay? We had to fight for what we wanted, for our inheritance. It was not given to us. We had to fight for it. And basically, what you were fighting for was to live, okay? You had to basically be 1 year old before they could initiate that certificate of live birth against your inheritance.
Yep.
Your inheritance was given to you when you turned 1 year old.
Yep.
And it was by your will to live.
Well, I almost didn't live. I filled up with mucus, and they had baptized me in the hospital. But I'm still here today.
Uh-huh. Well, I knew what was coming. I was trying to hang myself before I ever got out of the hopper. So I came out a blue baby. I'm a blue blood.
Mm.
I turned blue, and that's what they were worried, that I filled up with mucus and I wasn't going to make it. So my dad went and got my oldest brother and sister and had me baptized there. And when they baptized me, I changed from the blue to a normal color.
Okay, any other questions?
That's off the subject here. One other thing I want to interject that people, you were talking about words to say to yourself. One is to forgive, one is to say sorry, one is to thank yourself, and one is to say you love yourself.
Yeah, love is very big. That you need to, until you can love yourself, you can never really, truly love anybody else. And that's one of the hardest things. Everybody wants to love somebody else, but they have never known how to truly love themselves first.
Mm.
Hey, Marshall, that's an old Hawaiian tradition, the Ho'oponopono.
Well, I've heard it several times, and if you start saying that over and over to yourself in a situation, it's amazing how it changes it.
Yeah, I use it. It works. It works. I use it. Yep. Love yourself. Patrick, you're amazing. Thank you.
Well, it's all been back in the little computer back there in the back of my mind from years past. Way back.
You said it, Patrick. Love is everything. The reason Michael Jackson was assassinated by that doctor is because he was going to go over to England and sing about everybody love each other. And they just can't have anything like that.
Yeah, well, basically the same thing with John Lennon, okay? They took him out. And basically Malcolm X, basically he knew too much about some of this stuff. Martin Luther King was on the breaking point of trying to expose some of this stuff, okay? But they didn't want it brought out at that point in time. Yeah, there's been quite a few guys out here that have been trying to put this out, and people just think, well, it was because this was what was really got him killed. No, it wasn't. It was basically they were going to expose a lot of what I'm talking about right now. But see, in some cases, those guys were all insiders. And an insider can't really expose it. It can only be exposed by an outsider.
In order to expose this, those musicians really have a great avenue. Like you too. I thought Bono was, he's quite a man to, he fought with all the promoters to say, look, you lower those ticket prices because I want everybody to be able to attend, and he kind of sings on a freedom kind of march thing, and I just had to add that. You got to have some kind of media to get through to people, and that's music is a great way because it doesn't matter what language you speak, everybody likes the same sounds.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Hotel California tells you a lot right there in that damn song. By the Eagles, okay? I tried to post that one up on the group site there at one point in time. I don't know whether it's still up there or not. But that really is, it's taking you from conception all the way through the scenario if you understand what he's saying. Okay, why don't we call this a night then?
Okay, it's been a very good night. You've helped really go over a lot of the situations that we're in and help us apply your general principles to them quite well. I like that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. You take
Okay,
care.
see you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Patrick.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Everybody.
Good night,
you guys
bro.
have a good one. Okay.
Okay, we will.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bless you all. Great media to get the word out.